Hello again, and welcome to part 3 of my chat with Leeanne Gardner. She's co-founder of Starshine Communities and co-author of the new book, From Resilience to Brilliance. I'm Tomás-Keegan, and this is part of my continuing series of interviews with women who have inspiring stories to tell, and who are role models for the rest of us when it comes to learning to thrive. I call this show Tips for the Transition. Hello, Leeanne.
Hello, Miss Maria.
I appreciate all that you've shared with us so far, and we always like to save the best for last. So we want to hear what you've learned through your journey, from passion to going through the motions and living in the gray to passion again.
All right. I love talking about this.
Oh, good.
The passionista, right?
Right.
So I think the first thing I learned, moving through the grief of having this doobie that I held on to for so long, we got to the point where I had 5 horses at home, or 7, I'd lost track, so many horses at home, and 2 with trainers because I was showing at a very high level. One of those horses was my beloved Romeo. And so having horses at home, I realized horses are so much more than just a big, beautiful animal. And so there was a reason I was so connected with them. They're natural healers. And so they would just, I could come home and grab a glass of wine after work, and they would just help calm me down. So I did more research and exploration about how horses can interact and really help people. And so that's kind of a path that I had taken. So 2 years ago now, I lost Romeo because he had a chronic disease. So I think going through the process of losing the first horse and dealing with that grief, I was devastated. Romeo was my absolute soul horse, but I was able to process that grief and not be as angry and non-forgiving and trying to kind of blame others that had a role in his illness. So, my big lesson was I was able to handle the grief better. And then the biggest thing was learning more about the horses and how I could help others with the horses. So that was a big one. So kind of Romeo has a two-sided. He helped a lot of women overcome some things when he was in another program. So I'm thankful for him on so many levels. Another really big lesson, and we spoke about it a little bit, is after I had welcomed horses back into my life, and I would have these conversations with my corporate colleagues about passion, it amazed me at how many people really weren't connected, or they didn't have a life balance, or they didn't have a hobby. And so that's really when I decided to kind of do a little bit more exploration with the horses and help people tap into that passion, or something that maybe they have built that wall up against. Because more and more, almost everyone you hear about has some life event has happened, and male and female, and they've decided to separate themselves from that feeling. So, again, the horses can really help you tune into that. So I love that piece of that. Other lessons, and again, it's all really back related to the horses. I guess I was a horse in a previous life. That's why I have a mane. I don't know. Authenticity. Sometimes I feel that word is really overused. It's a buzzword. Horses are the epitome of authenticity. They stand in their presence, and they're only concerned about their well-being and safety in the moment. And that really does, that is what authenticity means to me, is being who you are, not trying to put on airs, standing. It doesn't matter if people like you or not, because you've got to be really confident in who you are and have the courage to stay true to your values. And so I think the authenticity is so important for everyone. Don't follow what everybody else is doing. We're all put here for a reason, and we all have our own path to help others. So find your own path. Don't just, try to do it. Oh, these people are doing that. That looks good. I can do it. Well, does that fit? Is it in alignment with your values and what you want to do?
Yeah, wow. Those are 3 really good ones.
Yeah.
Yeah. So deal with the emotions,
Mhm.
right? Deal with the emotions. Break down the walls if there are any, right? Find your passion. Find something that really lights you up.
Like my favorite quote, right? Don't ask what the world needs, ask what makes you come alive and go do it. Because what the world needs is more people who have come alive. Howard Thurman. And that encapsulates me, the passionista. I mean, that is absolutely what it is. There's, you talked about the gray and the coming alive. There's too many gray people out there going through the motions.
Yeah.
What lights you up and get out there, do it.
Yeah. I love that, and I love that you shared that quote. I get goosies every time you share that, and I did it again.
Love the goosies.
Yeah, and sometimes my goosies get goosies. That's when it's
Double goosies. Ooh.
So, Leeanne, I would love for you to share how our viewers can get in touch with you. So what's your favorite way for people to reach out to you?
My favorite way, yeah, because there's so many, and I'm like, enough of all of these different ways, right? Probably email is the best. So Leeanne at starshineaz.com. There's a couple you can, if horses intrigue you, you can visit my website, unbridleit.com. And if you're not really into horses, but kind of like what you hear, then starshineaz.com. Then that way you can kind of hear a little bit more.
Perfect. So by the magic of video, we will have Leanne's email address sitting at the bottom of the frame here. So I want to thank you so much. You have inspired me, and I hope you have inspired others as well, Leeanne, with your story. And I want to thank you just for being you. Being that you always you walk your talk, you always are authentically you, and everyone can trust in that. So I thank you for that.
Well, thank you. Thank you for all you do for so many women that are moving through their different transitions and being that safe space for them to come to. So, and also inviting me for this interview and being part of the book. So I honestly thank you.
Yeah, it is my pleasure. My pleasure, my pleasure. And I want to thank everyone for watching, and please be sure to check in on Amazon for this new book, From Resilience to Brilliance, because I think you're going to love the stories in it. And I think you'll learn something, and I think you absolutely be inspired by the women who have written in the book. So I would like to leave you with this thought. My deep desire is for these conversations to help others know that they're not alone. Many of us have gone through similar experiences, and we're here to help. I'm on a mission to help women to thrive. Will you join me on that journey? Till next time, I'm Maria Tomás-Keegan.